The West Virginia Mountaineers have extremely low expectations coming into the season. A lot of people around the country are sleeping on the Mountaineers. In this episode, I'm going to tell you why, as a Mountaineer fan, you still need to be excited for this upcoming season. So, my first reason why you should be optimistic as a West Virginia fan is the wide open Big 12. There is no huge brand there anymore. There is no Texas, there is no Oklahoma. As far as resources, as far as a program, West Virginia should be able to compete with all the teams that are on this list. Colorado's, Texas Tech's, TCU's, Oklahoma State's, Iowa State's. West Virginia should be in that tier where we can compete for titles each and every year, including this year. Even though it's a new roster, even though it's a new coach, it's extremely wide open. The last few projections of the Big 12 have been completely wrong. If you look, Arizona State last year was picked dead last. Guess what? They won the conference. That doesn't happen in a league like the SEC. It doesn't happen in a league like the Big 10. In the Big 12, literally anything can happen. It's a truly unpredictable league. If you look back to 2 years ago, West Virginia picked dead last. That team ended up winning 9 games. It was Neil Brown's best team. So if there's a reason to be optimistic as a West Virginia fan, you're in the right conference. Maybe not as a regional rival perspective and having close games, but as far as competing and trying to win the conference, you're in the right conference. You could win this conference moving forward. That's the first reason to be optimistic as a West Virginia fan. So the second reason why I think Mountaineer fans should be excited for the season is the way the schedule sets up. If you look at it, you get Robert Morris and Ohio first. Unlike in years past where you're playing a Power Four program right off the bat, these two games are very winnable for the Mountaineers, and they should be wins, right? Unlike in years past where you played a Penn State or you played a Pitt or Maryland and you botched those games and you started off 0-1. As a fan, it's hard to get excited for the season when you're constantly starting 0-1. It's hard to build momentum. At least in this schedule, you can build momentum. So let's go right down the list. Robert Morris, game 1. Rich Rod's first game back in Morgantown. People are going to be excited to see the roster. Should be a win. Week 2 is a tricky one because it is on the road against a very respectable MAC program. They're really good, right? But in the new era of transfer portal, they've lost a lot of their players to the portal that are leveling up. You should be able to get a win there. Then you get Pittsburgh. That game is a home game for the Mountaineers. You know Morgantown is going to be juiced for that game no matter what. The backyard brawl just means more. It's the last one that they're going to play for a while, and it's Rich Rod's first game back against his rival. It's going to be electric. So I like your chances there. Then you go on to Kansas, at Kansas. Now, Kansas last year really struggled in the beginning of their season. They failed to make a bowl game. Again, in my opinion, if you want to level up as a program, you need to expect to beat Kansas even on the road. And then the last game is Utah, who, just like Kansas, had a disappointing season last year, failed to make a bowl game, finished in the bottom of the Big 12. Now, don't get me wrong. Utah is a great football program. I don't think they're going to be as bad as they were last year, but it's a winnable game. If you look at what they did last year, you have to like your chances of them making that long road trip over to Morgantown. That trip from Utah to Morgantown is not easy. So your first 5 games set up really nicely. After that, you do have some challenges, right? You do have a game at BYU, which can be tricky. You do have teams like at Arizona State, who won the conference last year, and you have Texas Tech, who spent a lot of money in the transfer portal this season. So it gets tougher as it goes on, but at least for the beginning part of the schedule, I really think it sets up nicely for the West Virginia Mountaineers. So the next reason why you should be optimistic as a West Virginia fan is the coaching change that was made. There is absolutely no way that Neil Brown could have been back after what happened the last 6 years. Everyone liked him as a person, but we had a tough time winning games against good opponents. We never got in the top 25, so it was definitely time for a change. And who else would you rather bring back than Rich Rodriguez? This guy has proven that he can win here. And not only has he proven that he can win here, he's proven that he can win at other places. He won at Arizona, which is now a Big 12 school, so he's familiar with the league. He did amazing things at Jacksonville State over the past 2 seasons, and that's really the reason why he got this job. He knows how to use the portal. He showed that at Jacksonville State, so that's good. And then look at his record at West Virginia, 60-26. The first season started off a little rough. He was 3-8, but that was a different time. They didn't have the transfer portal back then. Rich Rod kind of was stuck with his roster. Here, he can get his guys that he wants to Morgantown. So besides that first season, he was 9-4, 8-5, 8-4, 11-1, 11-2, and 10-2. So never finished below 8 wins after that first season. He had this thing rolling when he was in Morgantown the last time he was here. One game away from the national championship, won numerous BCS games. This guy's the right guy for the job. It means a lot to him. I trust him. He's a great coach. A lot of people respect him in the business. So I think with just a coaching change overall, it was time for it. And I think as a West Virginia fan, we should be excited about it. So my last reason why you should be optimistic as a West Virginia fan is actually the new roster. So a lot of my passive West Virginia fans that aren't that locked in kind of just assume that the team's not going to be very good because they don't know any of the players. But if you pay attention to some of the portal gets that we got, I think there's a lot of promise here, right? I mean, if you look at just some of the guys that are highlighted in the videos I've done in the past, guys like Fred Perry and Jamori Robinson and Michael Coates Jr. and Cam Vaughn and those guys, the newcomers that are coming in are extremely talented. People don't know about them yet. So it's hard to get excited for a team if you don't know who's on the roster. Even the guys we're bringing back, right? I mean, Jaheim White, let's start with him. Again, he has a chance to be a player that could be the next great running back at West Virginia. Rich Rodriguez does an amazing job at running backs. I think that he's in for a big season. And then people forget that Nico Marchiol was a pretty big recruit for the West Virginia Mountaineers. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be Nico's job. He has a battle with Jalen Henderson that's going to be tight, but if he does start, he does have talent. He's proven to win games in the past. So there's 70 new players on this roster. No one knows how they are. You don't know. You don't know until you go out there. So if there's one thing for optimism, instead of looking at it negatively, these guys could potentially ball out. This could be an Indiana situation where Indiana brought in a ton of new guys last year and surprised people pretty early and ended up making the college football playoff. Not saying that West Virginia is going to make the college football playoff, but just because you have a lot of roster turnover doesn't mean you can't be good in this day and age. I actually think it's the opposite. So I think with the roster additions that we had and some of the guys we have back, I don't think this roster is as bad as people think. So